Let me ask a question. Survey says sort of thing. How many of you would say that in our nation today we have some economic problems? Well, I thought so. We've really been moving away from our roots, from our heritage. Now, our founders understood this quite well. I have this quote from John Adams. I think he captured it exceedingly well when he said, "Power always thinks it has a great soul and vast views beyond comprehension of the weak, and that it is doing God's service when it is violating all His laws." The Federal Reserve System is our counterfeiter du jour. And what we're finding is we have a continual assault on private property in America. And the Federal Reserve, one of the best ways to tax people is by monetary inflation, by the devaluation of the dollar. Because nobody has to pass the law. Our counterfeiter du jour just prints the stuff up. Now, once again, we didn't see the consumer prices run up. You know why? The Chinese. The Chinese have been buying up our debt. They've been buying up our dollar. They're holding our dollar. If we were to see, even if we were to see, let's say we see inflation rates of 10%. That's fairly mild. That's 1970s version of inflation rates. That would mean short-term interest rates have got to go to at least 10% to generate zero real return.
My goal tonight is to encourage you to become a student of Austrian economics. Man always acts with a purpose, never in the aggregate, always as an individual. And for that reason, man cannot be placed into a formula. Man cannot be charted on a graph or placed into a mathematical calculation for any type of central planning or forecasting, as modern-day economists insist on doing. Common sense and moral courage. What kind of courage? The kind of courage to stand out in front and tell the truth without fear. Contrary to the fact that Wall Street and the media and all of our political leaders in Washington were taken by complete surprise when this financial crisis hit last year. The classical natural law theorists, the Austrians, have been predicting this financial mess all along. John Maynard Keynes, if you do not know who this gentleman is, go home tonight and Google him on the internet. Get a complete bio on him. Keynesian economics is very destructive. Economics is just really about making a living. Today, our private property has been systematically confiscated. This is fiat money. And we all know that there's nothing backing this. It's just paper and ink. Part of what I want to do tonight is get the right meaning of this word, inflation. Aren't we all sort of perplexed and confused and under a lot of distress? And it's because we really don't understand how money really works. Rome didn't just collapse because some foreign country came in and took over it. Its money collapsed. There is no subtler or sure means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debase the currency. In view of the magnitude of this problem, the severity of it, what can I do? What can one individual do? As a society, we absolutely must save our money right now. It's the one thing an individual can do in spite of what is going on.
Some of this is coming from the real estate business. Timber is real estate, Della. I've been around real estate all my life. Read a lot of books on real estate, but if you read those books, Horace, you find out that none of them talking about real estate. They're all talking about leverage, because you're always dealing with borrowed money. You either borrow from somebody else, Johnny, and pay interest, or you use your own money and give up interest. Interest is there. Banking function is there, whether you like it or not. Banking is the most important business there is. Wealth has got to reside somewhere. It's not a numbers game, folks. It's a quality game. There are people that I know, there are people in this room that will never see a bank anymore in their life, except for checking account convenience sake. We haven't seen a bank for banking purposes other than checking account in 15 years. It can be done. All you do is you get together with like-minded people and solve this problem. Now, banking is a process, it's not a product. A concept put together by Stern Stewart Consulting Firm in New York. They're teaching Coca-Cola, CSX Railroad, Briggs & Stratton Engines, Quaker Oats, et al. Now, folks, that's big businesses. What is the number one recognizable trademark in the world? Coca-Cola. Infinite banking concepts is a totally different paradigm. It's really a personal monetary system. A fatal error is thinking it's a function of interest rates. It's not.
We have all been taught from day one to save, to put that in a bank. When you make a loan, go to a bank. Well, why go to a bank when you can have your own bank and control that? I'm using this tool to teach my kids about economics and how the money works.
It's so important for everyone to think about where their money is going and who their money is going to, and what better place than back to yourself.
And it can be used in so many ways. You can use it for personal things like, vacations, or if there's some appliance in the house that you, instead of using your credit card, you can go use this and you get the interest back, whereas if you paid a credit card, then your interest is totally gone.
When I chose to opt out of the 401k and the teacher retirement plans, I knew that the money that would have gone there was going to go directly back to me.
I can take cash loans against the value of it. I pay it back. I get to determine the interest rate, then I get to pay it back.
And you're the one that has to take charge of your financial resources and decide what are you going to do to protect those financial resources, and not only just protect them, but it's got to grow. If it's not growing, you're losing.
So the money's got to go one of two ways, and we just choose to capture it and reinvest it in our own banking system.
I started to understand the different things that I could do with my money to be in control of my money and to become my own banker.
You're financing vehicles, you're financing college tuition for children, you're financing everyday items. Why not do it yourself? Becoming your own banker is one of the best financial decisions that our family has made. It's allowed us freedom, it's allowed us growth opportunities in a controlled risk environment.
You can also look at it as a warehouse where you store your money. You can go in and get some of your money if you want to. You take your money, put it back in the warehouse. And
you have control of your finances. You don't have to depend on somebody else to get your money.
There's no better investment vehicle out there that pass on wealth to the next generation than this program.
I have watched my investments go up and down pretty much out of my control. One of the things I like about the infinite banking concept is it puts me in control and gives me a sense of being in control of my destiny.